Hello, it's Crystal with Mama Bear Defense, and obviously you can read by the title, but I really want to talk about children's firearm safety. This is a subject that is so near and dear to my heart. When I was young, um, my family was friends with other families, and we would get together and go camping every summer. And we would play, the adults would do adult things, and the kids, we would play in the river or I don't know, just throwing sticks or whatever. And one summer, when I was 8, I found out, well, not summer, it could have been during the school year. I don't remember the exact time. But we found out that the neighbor family, that one of our close families, had an accident with firearms in the home. And the older son accidentally shot the younger son and killed him. And that was the first experience I had with firearm accidents and negligency. And it really shocked me. And I just can't even imagine like how that kid felt. And I think he was like 12 and the younger son was like 8, somewhere around there. And honestly, like us as parents with firearms, don't put that pressure on your child. Don't let your child be the one to decide whether or not he has discipline or she has discipline not to touch the gun. Like, I'm not going to leave it up to my child to choose that. I'm not going to give them that option. Um, so that's my segue to firearm safety. It's a little intense. Whether or not you have firearms in the home, it doesn't matter because your child will go to other homes and I, I'm sorry, I should have looked up the statistic, but there's more guns than people in America. I'm positive about that. And I guarantee you, you know a family, even if you're in an area where most people are anti-gun, I'm sure that there's a family that you know that has a gun. And your child needs to learn the safety because if they are in that situation where they encounter a firearm and they don't have an automated response, you're like, what are they going to do naturally? What do they want to do naturally? They want to touch it. So you want to teach them so hard that at least they have that thought like, no, don't touch. And then, I mean, it's up to them what they do with it. So first, I'm going to talk to the parents with firearms. Okay, the more research I've done on this subject, the more I've realized that we are slacking like really bad, myself included. Okay. Yes, I understand like when you have a baby and you have firearms, you just kind of put them out of reach. Like, oh, I'm just going to put this on the top shelf and look, it's unloaded. And then I'm just going to put this next to it. Well, yeah, okay, that might be okay for, a little crawler. But just how you slowly have to childproof your home, put things in the sockets and so forth. You have to up your game with childproofing your firearms. And a out of reach is not out of reach, and that's not childproofing. Those of you that have toddlers, I'm in the thick of it right now. I have a 2.5-year-old and I have a 7-month-old, so she's not in the thing. But my 2.5-year-old, oh yeah, he will climb to the tip of top whatever and get whatever he wants. And if he knew there was a gun in a certain spot, oh yeah, he's going for it. And even if he can't reach it, he'll lift a box and then stand on top of the box, on top of things. You know how it is. So just out of reach isn't good enough, guys. I hope you understand that. And if you just want to learn, do a quick YouTube of gun accidents and it will show you 3-year-olds, so many 3-year-olds, so many 4-year-olds that just find it, curiosity. And even if they know they've been taught, their willpower. You put a cookie and say, don't touch the cookie. How long is that going to last? It's just they don't have that willpower. So don't leave it up to them. Here's some options. $20 on Amazon. I'm going to put a link below. $20, guys. Seriously? And this is just like a little pad. I'm sure you guys have seen these locks. You can memorize which way it goes, and then you just turn the little switch and you have access to your firearm. $20. More expensive, faster version is the gun box. And that I don't have one of those. It's like $200 price range. Maybe I'll get one someday. And then there's good old fashioned, where'd I put it? Oh, these, the locks. And you could get these for free from your local police department. I guarantee you, whatever state you're in, you will be able to find a gun, the lock for free. And I'll even post a website that I think connects you with different counties and so forth, where you can get those for free. That's not I understand this is a super slow option. So this is like for your rifles or your shotguns and stuff. I have not found a fast, long gun accessibility other than like those ones that are on the wall that are like a safe, and you have to do like a magnet or something and it'll pop up, or it has like a lock and it'll pop up. That's honestly the only thing I can think of that's fast-ish. This is a fast option for your handgun. And so I think what I've talked to the gun community, what they're doing is they'll put their handgun in something like that, the little box, and then they're planning on going from their handgun to their long gun, which will take a little bit longer, but at least they're armed as they're getting that. So that's that. If you don't have kids in the home, that's a different situation, but you need to remember that when kids are coming into your home, that you need to have a good way of securing your firearms. There is no reason for multiple firearms to be loaded in your home. So my husband and I, we both have our concealed carry permits, and I'm a concealed carry instructor. And those are the two guns that are loaded in our home, our handguns. And they're loaded on our body, or they are loaded in a lockbox. That's it. That's their two homes. We each have a lockbox on the side of our beds for our firearms. And when they are not on us and when we're not whatever, we just put them in there. Our other bigger guns are in a locked safe in a locked room. So, and then they're not, the magazine is not loaded either. The magazine is empty. And then the rounds are in a box on a shelf. So guys, this is common sense, but really, I can't believe how many people are slacking in this. And it's not just civilians. It's military, it's law enforcement, it's people that are getting comfortable with firearms. And we just, no bueno. Okay, hopefully I got that aspect across. Now let's talk about the child. I'm like looking at the time. Now let's talk about the educating your child. Okay, you show them a gun so that they're not like, oh, and you say, this is a gun. This is where the bullets come out. And this can hurt someone really bad. And whatever age, I'm talking to my 2.5-year-old, if you couldn't tell. And you say, we never point this at someone. I wouldn't point this at my son, but we never, ever, ever point this at someone, ever, ever. And then you say, whatever, depends on how the age of the kid, what education you're going to give them. But then you teach them different aspects of firearm safety. We always keep our finger off the trigger. So with their little squirt guns, you teach them, keep your finger off the trigger until ready to shoot. And just little, always keep it pointed in a safe direction. Know what's the backdrop. Never keep it loaded until you're ready to shoot. So these are all on the NRA website. Or just gun safety rules. It's pretty blanket across the board. So that's that. Also, be sure to educate them that some guns, real guns, are colored. They might have a color to them. And just because they're colored does not mean that they are a toy gun. So it might, if you really want, you could take them to a coating shop and you can show them the different types of coated guns. Like I think Cerakote is a big one right now. And go in and they're all pretty painted guns and you say, all of these are real guns. and so forth. And so that they get it in their head that just because it's colored doesn't mean that it's not real. And it doesn't matter. You teach them, if there's any doubt, if it's not your gun, don't touch it. That's that. Another trick I've heard is you teach them that if it has that orange part on the muzzle, little cap, then it's a toy gun. But I don't know. I'm not going by that. I'm just gonna say the whole, if it's not yours, don't touch it. Okay, so that's one. Two, I'm gonna post a link. The NRA has a child education video, and then they also have workbooks for free for the parents and for the children. It tells you like how to do it. It's like a little, I would say maybe a 30-minute workbook or time, including the video, that you sit down with your kids. I would do this once a year, every so often. I'm going to pause right now and play my little son singing the cute song. What do you do when you see a gun?
Stop, don't touch, run away till they're grown up.
Oh, yeah. Good job, buddy.
Okay, so that's freaking adorable. Even though he knows the song, I don't trust him. Yes, he knows not to touch a gun. And sometimes we've been in situations where he'll come up to me and go, Mommy, Mommy, there's a gun. And I'm like, yay, my little mommy heart is so happy. But I don't trust him, and I'm not gonna give him that opportunity to exercise his willpower. They've done lots of different tests on small groups of children. So it's not like huge tests, but in these groups, what they found is even though they educated them, it was still hard for them to, for the kids not to touch them. And about a third of the boys still, even with the education, they would be saying, stop, don't touch. And they'd be touching it. Tell the grown up, and they're touching the gun. Like, it's hard. About 10 years old was when the kids could actually exercise the willpower and say no and help the other kids. So I don't know, something to think about with your kids. I just thought that was an interesting little tidbit. What's another thing? Oh, I'm going to post another article by a guy. He's, I believe, an ex-Navy SEAL or not, well, retired. And he goes through his process of educating his children, and he tests them and so forth to see how they react in certain situations. Okay, and then teenagers. Let's go there. I think the big thing with teenagers is you need to know where your guns are at all times. So you just need to know. You need to check. You need to know where your gun keys are, your gun safes are. I would check every day. I know it's so painful, but I mean, put your keys in an area where you notice if they're gone. Like make it accessible for you and your locks and so forth, because everyone's been a teenager. So that's the whole bit with teenagers. My mindset is if you cannot buy a gun by yourself, then you cannot shoot a gun by yourself. And actually, it's not just my mindset. The United States agrees with me. You cannot, well, or at least Utah law, a 16-year-old cannot just take a gun shooting out in the woods by himself. He has to be accompanied by an adult. And that's that, guys. Whew. Covered it. And seriously, feel free to share this. Feel free to comment if you have other ideas. If you think I missed something, I'm not perfect. I know, hard to believe. And I'm not like the expert on everything, but I hope that these resources will help you and help others to be more educated. Oh, one more thing. I don't know if I said this, but if you are a parent without guns in your home and you have friends, just talk about it. Ask them if they own a firearm, and ask them if they're secured and how they secure them. And if they get all queasy about it, like, I'm not trying to steal your guns, but I just want to make sure my child's safe when they're in your home. And yeah, so that's something that also preventative, I think that you can do. Anywho, that's it. Have a good day. And I hope you're doing great. Bye.